Welcome to Witches in Yoga Pants, your cozy corner of the cosmos where modern magic meets everyday life. We're here to explore magic, mindfulness, and personal growth with a grounded, no-fluff vibe. Whether you're into moon rituals, tarot spreads, or just trying to survive Mercury retrograde, you are in the right place. So get ready to disrupt some old patterns, explore what it means to reclaim your power, and remember who you really are. So pull up your yoga mat, light a candle, and let's get into it. Well, hello and welcome back. I'm really glad you're here. Today, we are stepping into the energy of the Lunar New Year. It's a celebration. It's honored by millions of people around the world. It's rooted in the rhythm of the moon rather than the calendar that's hanging on your kitchen wall. Lunar New Year is a threshold. It marks the second new moon after the winter solstice, which means we are moving out of the deepest part of winter and beginning to feel that subtle shift toward new life. Not yet a bursting kind of spring energy, but the quiet internal stirring that says that something new is forming. And this year, we're closing out the Chinese year of the snake and stepping into the year of the fire horse. The snake carries intuitive, strategic, quietly transformative energy, and it sheds what no longer fits. Snake energy invites discernment and deep internal renewal. So over the past year, you may have noticed themes of shedding identities, releasing patterns, or outgrowing roles that once felt protective and necessary. The snake embodies transformation. It teaches us that growth often happens invisibly first, and now we move into fire horse energy. The horse represents movement, freedom, vitality, and forward momentum. Add fire to that, and you get boldness, visibility, passion, and creative ignition. Where the snake coils back and observes, the horse runs forward with purpose and drive. Energetically, we are shifting from an inward, shedding cycle into one that wants motion. And it doesn't need to be frantic motion, but embodied motion. Whatever you've been quietly transforming or creating may now be ready for legs. And what I love about the Lunar New Year is that it all aligns with the very beginning of spring. It's the earliest signs of spring. There's subtle shift in light. The ground is beginning to soften. A few bits of new life are starting to peek out of the soil. In fact, this week I'm planting tomato and pepper seeds in my greenhouse. They're not going straight into the earth yet. They're going to be in a warm and protected environment where they can begin to build their roots. And that feels like the perfect metaphor for this moment. Because we don't go from deep winter into a full gallop overnight. Nature doesn't work that way. Our nervous systems don't work that way either. Winter is conservation. It's inward. It's slower movement and longer nights. Even if we didn't consciously rest, our bodies still registered the season. And there's a contraction that happens with that. Early spring isn't a sprint. It's a thaw. It's a gentle activation, a stretch as we begin to wake up the energy we've been storing and nurturing. And this is where we need to be mindful with fire horse energy. Fire can inspire, but it can also overwhelm if we try to move faster than our body is ready for. The horse wants motion, fire wants action. But if we haven't allowed ourselves to thaw, we burn through ourselves instead of building something sustainable. That's why the greenhouse feels so symbolic. Those seeds are not ready to go outside yet. They are protected while they strengthen. There is structure and intention, and there's a container that supports their early growth. So maybe the question becomes, what is in your greenhouse this year? Where are you allowed to grow without being fully visible yet? What environments support your early momentum? And who gets access to what's still tender? Because not everything needs to be launched at full speed just because the energy is shifting. Sometimes the most aligned way to work with fire horse momentum is to let it build inside a protected space first. After a year of snake energy, of shedding and quiet transformation, of internal recalibration, there's often a moment where you realize you can't go back. The skin has already been shed. And once that happens, movement becomes inevitable. But here's the part we don't talk about. When you shed an old identity, you don't just release limitations, you release familiarity. Snake energy strips away roles that you've outgrown, stories that you've carried, versions of yourself that once kept you safe. And while that can feel liberating, it can also feel disorienting because who are you without the old skin? Fire horse energy doesn't just bring momentum, it brings visibility. Now that you've shed, who are you willing to be seen as? That's vulnerable. It's one thing to release an old pattern privately, and another thing to embody something new publicly. Sometimes hesitation around movement isn't about fear of failure, but it's about the fear of being witnessed in a new form. Firehorse energy carries embodied courage. Early spring doesn't apologize for changing. It doesn't ask winter for permission to leave. It simply begins. The light returns, the soil softens, the shoots rise, not because they're fully formed, but because they're ready enough. And maybe that's the real shift from snake to firehorse. From quieter inner knowing to lived expression, from private transformation to embodied presence. So as we step into this Lunar New Year, as we cross from snake into firehorse, from deep winter into the earliest stirrings of spring, maybe the question isn't how much you can accomplish. Maybe it's simpler than that. Maybe it's beginning to notice what has already fallen away, what feels quietly alive, and what is asking for movement. You don't have to sprint. You don't have to burn. You don't have to force the thaw. Let the fire warm you. Let the horse carry you where there is truth, and let your greenhouse protect what is still tender. Spring doesn't demand perfection, it just begins. So, until next time, remember who you are, honor what you need, and trust where you are being guided. Take what you've heard today even further by joining my newsletter community. Each week, you'll receive journal prompts and reflections connected to the episode that are designed to guide you in bringing these conversations off the podcast and into your own journey. Let's keep going deeper together. The link is waiting for you below.